Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, as roster mania questions still remain hanging in the air. Some pros are looking to make a return to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but some of them are certainly not so convinced. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. It is free after all that type of good stuff. Wanted to mention this first of all, because as Scump points out yesterday, since Twitter decided to up the clip quality, you guys may have seen this, that Twitter said that they're actually going to improve to some degree the video processing, or maybe they're just going to reduce some of the processing they do, because you guys know when you put a video on Twitter, it often doesn't look so pretty. They've, well, apparently tried to up the quality. There does seem to be some noticeable improvements, but as Scump says, you know, he puts this tweet out right here. Some of you guys have noticed that at Empire ILLey, as you can see in the reply, ILLey's burner has been kind of on the rampage the last couple of days. I see some people looking at these tweets and kind of thinking they're the legit ILLey accounts, but ILLey's account is actually, well, it's actually verified. We'll look at it later in the video, but I won't leave my gaming chat until we recreate this moment on OpTic together. Hashtag Brick by Brick says the burner. This one as well in reply to Dashy. So yeah, keep your eyes out for the burners, guys. They're trying to take your lunch money and they're trying to bait everyone on the timeline, but well, it's not necessarily always going to happen. The real ILLey did change his bio. I saw this on Spoonbill. I thought I pointed out because some of this stuff is kind of interesting that having to all be in a line right here. So ILLey is taking out his well, age, I guess, professional Call of Duty player. He now changes to for the Dallas Empire. Then Neptune changes the D in COD to the capital D. So it's kind of well, I mean, there's nothing really to read into there, but kind of interesting that he's kind of messing with his bio, even though nothing yet announced with the New York side, which is supposedly going to be the case. And then Crimsix here changes it from 1.2 to 1.3. I mean, I'm not sure if he meant to put an M in here, to be honest, rather than at $1.3, you know, $1.30. Not exactly ideal, but yeah, Doug Sensor Martin changes his name to Doug Sensor Martin, and yeah, four-time champion back in the bio. But yes, something to keep your eyes on for sure in the coming days. This from Priestahh, still my son at Cellium. There's a funny clip I'll finish out the video for you guys with, where like Scump and Co ran into like attach to the boys in Warzone and certainly had a good time with it. But yeah, whenever these guys match, I mean, there's always a good time. One matchup that is happening, I believe, later today is this Fight Night that Hitch comes up with. Fight Night is back tomorrow night. It's Dylan Envoy versus Tupac Thuglord. 5 versus 5 Modern Warfare Search and Destroy Pro Mod $500 show match. Who have you got in this one? So Pro Mod, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work in 5v5. I guess like I mean, one sniper, one SMG, one AR. I'm not really sure how the rest of it's going to go. Maybe something like 2 MP5s, 2 M4s and a sniper or something. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, pretty exciting stuff. At the same time, we are going back here to Modern Warfare. Some pros aren't so convinced this is a good idea. I was kind of surprised because when I saw Tupac Thuglord, it was of course him and aBeZy were kind of dominating Modern Warfare Remastered when that was of course came out alongside Infinite Warfare a couple of years ago. I thought when I first saw this it might be a Modern Warfare Remastered thing. At the same time, I mean, as Hitch says in reply here in just a second, not really sure a lot of pro players would like to get the PS4 out of the cupboard and get that ready to go for Modern Warfare Remastered again. So probably going back to Modern Warfare maybe it makes a bit more sense. But still, pros returning to this game kind of interesting. Envoy's obviously down, Tupac's obviously down, and you know, I mean, like Tupac right now, the analyst for Atlanta FaZe and the analyst previously for Chicago Huntsman during the Modern Warfare season, if you guys aren't aware. But Envoy definitely liked Search and Destroy Modern Warfare. He was very good at it. He also generally likes 5v5 as well. Pretty exciting. But of course, that they have to decide what teams they are going to field for the upcoming matchups. And well, as Envoy says right here, need for this. So trying to get some pro players involved. And well, some players are certainly down, at some players maybe not quite so much. We see Clayster right here in the replies. Peeped the Search and Destroy stats from last year. I am in, he says. So yeah, getting Clayster on board definitely makes a fair bit of sense. Of course, Dallas Empire won the World Championship last year on this organization. It seems like, okay, Clayster's coming in. Then Envoy's like, okay, we need 3, and then ILLey comes in and drops the down. So yeah, seems like they only need 2 anymore. The champs heard Modern Warfare. Y'all didn't hesitate at all. So yes, Clayster, ILLey plus Envoy, they're in. The rest of the team, I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be for now, but well, we'll see how things develop later today. But certainly a difficult team that is going to be, well, that's going to be a difficult squad to stop. And as Tupac says on the other side, I need 4. Who is trying to win this? And well, Simp hits the reply right here. Well, he's not necessarily so convinced. It's a great idea. Modern Warfare Pro Mod, good lord, that sounds horrible. Certainly the pros don't look back on Modern Warfare with too much of a great feeling, to be honest. Certainly, yeah, like the COD cycle is a thing, right? Where like, okay, after a couple of years, it turns out you look back on previous games with more optimism maybe than you had at the time. But still, I think Modern Warfare people, it still leaves a bitter taste in people's mouths, I think, especially from the professional side of the community. And as Sim says, yeah, not exactly too happy about that. Asked these guys, I had to take a double look, thought it was Modern Warfare Remastered. MWR could be pretty interesting, 5v5 on that game probably would work, but as Hitch does say, like, you know, nobody's breaking out a PS4 to play a Modern Warfare Remastered show match, just trying to give you all something to play this off-season. I'm just trying to get some more of Pack being unbeatable on Modern Warfare Remastered. And as Simp says, you know, if it was Modern Warfare Remastered, Tyler, that being a PT, would have slid Pack's DMs by now straight straight away getting on there, but maybe not so keen to join his squads, given the fact that it is Modern Warfare. But yes, I have to see how that one develops. This also I thought was kind of funny from Arcitys, right? I believe this is Jetski right here, having a good time on stream, using a controller in Valorant. This, of course, there's been the big discussion, the big debate the last several days between PC players, between controller players, and what takes more skill. Like can PC players use controllers effectively? It's pretty rare to see that controllers get pulled out in games like this. I've seen people before, like videos that get recommended to me on people using like steering wheels and stuff to play Counter-Strike and getting some occasional kills. But again, using a controller on a PC game, it generally doesn't go too well. But I guess technically Call of Duty nowadays is a PC game. We play it on PC. But yeah, not the prettiest shots right here. Watch this live. Almost spit out my drink, says aBeZy here in the replies. And I mean, this of course, when your teammate goes rogue, it is interesting to see what Atlanta FaZe are getting up to. They've been rather active on the timeline the last few days. I think it's interesting that some of the players that might be getting involved in some of the announcements over the coming days have gone a little bit quieter on social media. Maybe Crimsix hasn't said too much the last couple of days. FaZe are sitting back and relaxing. They're obviously having a good time on the timeline. But at the same time, you've got guys like Crimsix, for example, who is meant to be in this New York announcement. We don't really know when that's going to happen. I do wonder when contract stuff is going to come into play, because not all the pro players will tweet out these kind of contract signing gifts when they do sign their contracts, but some of them certainly will. And generally, I mean, we've seen a fair bit of that, I think, from even like the likes of, I'm not sure if it was Nasty, but maybe like a Gizmo or something like that, who had tweeted out some sort of contract signing gift that you would imagine would have, London you'd have thought would have been confirmed by now, right? If that is the case. We've kind of known that it should be Zero, Afro, Nasty, and Gizmo for quite a while at this point, yet London are kind of hesitating, it seems, to do the announcement, even if some of the contracts have been signed. Maybe there's still some things getting ironed out. I'm sure like the OpTic Dallas thing might take a little bit longer than some of the other ones, because there's more complications involved there in terms of like what the merger even looks like if it does happen between OpTic and Envy, and then what that means for the Call of Duty league organization, and then what that means for the NRG Chicago spot as it stands right now. But for some of these other teams, I'm kind of surprised it's taken them so long to announce. At the same time, it does mean dragging things out means October's probably going to be slightly more entertaining than it would have been otherwise. But yeah, this is kind of my look when I see another day without an announcement hitting the timeline. This is Los Angeles Grillers point out, and I thought it was an interesting tweet, but I actually go back this morning and see that aBeZy is like this one. So there is definitely the discussion there, what's happening with aBeZy next year. Like, we've had a fair bit of talk about what could be the Washington spot if they buy out the Chicago spot from NRG, as we just discussed, and maybe even complexity, as we talked about yesterday. Could they come into play? But yeah, aBeZy is certainly a big question mark right now. Of course, a pretty solid SMG this season. Of course, Los Angeles Grillers were tragic, but aBeZy probably, outside of Vivid, they're maybe the best player on that team. So that's what you got to think about, right? If you are a team like Washington, when a lot of the other players have been snapped up already, do you get Methods? Do you get Vivid? Do you put aBeZy back in there and kind of build that SMG duo they had at the start of the year on Los Angeles Grillers? It might not be spectacular. It might be something you consider, but at least aBeZy hopefully will find somewhere as a substitute if he doesn't want to step into challenges or just retire from play entirely. But well, anyway, this is where we'll sleep at choice at number 5 from Huke. What are your favorite game modes ever? So interesting, number 5, Cranked. Wow, this was initially introduced way back in Call of Duty Ghost, I think. I'm pretty sure they brought it back in Cold War recently as well, and maybe in some other titles before that. But again, he's going generally for competitive game modes. Hardpoint, Uplink, Search and Destroy. I mean, Uplink is it's got to be right up there. Honestly, game mode was phenomenal in the games that it was played in. Search and Destroy certainly makes a lot of sense. Then Domination in 4. Obviously, these are kind of public match game modes as well. But yeah, maybe Capture the Flag. Surprising maybe not to see that in there for Huke, given he did play back in Advanced Warfare when it was pretty good. He also played in World War II when Capture the Flag was in the game, but maybe not so spectacular in that title. So maybe a surprise to see Domination at 4. But yeah, Sleep at pick at 5. Definitely intrigued to your perspective in the comment section below how you would line this one up. This I thought from Red 11 stats very interesting. The Search and Destroy map pool, which ended the season, was pretty diverse indeed. So of course we had some changes here, right, with Express coming into play and some other things switching around. Of course, Standoff came in as well. And these are some really interesting stats on percentage of kills with each primary weapon. The 74U, of course, as expected, dominating Express. On the other way around, it's Miami getting dominated by the Krig, and then Moscow's pretty balanced, Raid's pretty balanced, Standoff is actually dead in the middle, and then Checkmate just towards the AR Central. But yeah, made a lot of sense overall. Definitely, I think we had a pretty decent map set towards the end of the title. Of course, Checkmate got taken out to, the middle part of the year, most certainly. But hopefully in this upcoming game, we do get a nice diverse map set as well, with the maps in different locations. They look kind of nice. The colors, I think, has been kind of the big discussion really in previous Sledgehammer games. For example, World War II. Like, it wasn't particularly a pretty title. Hopefully this time around it's different. I mean, of course, I think we saw from the beta generally looked somewhat better, and the maps hopefully are nice and diverse as well, and we get something similar to this going forward as well. Thought it was interesting actually, just because we were discussing kind of the game mode and a Call of Duty Ghost and where Cranked was back in the day. This one PC game I thought was definitely some people people were suggesting Ghost signaled a downward trend for Call of Duty that lasted years. I wonder if you guys think this is fully the case. I think you well could certainly argue it. I mean, for Black Ops 2, it's difficult to go up from there. The Ghost campaign actually was not too bad. The multiplayer wasn't exactly great. The IEDs and the ghillie suits still like haunt my nightmares, to be honest. But I mean, yeah, obviously Black Ops 3 I thought was well definitely an up point, and it's difficult to say like a downward trend that lasted years. I think as of late it's been on a decent trajectory though, especially from the competitive side, but also with Warzone coming into play as well. It's well, Call of Duty's back where I suppose you could say it belongs. But very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really helps out the YouTube icon, and I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
Yeah, second floor right here.
I love those comp that bullet right here.
Easy. Wait. Attach. But these might be some demons.
I'd hurt. Yes, sir.
Attach a Priestahh. Sit.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
You're getting bagged, Priest. You're getting bagged, P-Dog.
TJHaLy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Get him out.
Get him out.
I didn't do shit, really. I shot P-Dog in the back a couple times. We'll take it.